in Saudi, it's just maybe 2 or 3 months back, they decided, Saudi, to make a highway going from Riyadh till, I think, far away, maybe thousands of kilometers, just to make road. So they hired one of the companies to make roads, and they approved the project, and they was working on it. So while they was doing an area after area and going, across the place, they went to one of the towns or one of the villages, I forgot the name, and in the middle of the road there was a small graveyard, So they have to make their, road highway, but in the middle of that place there's a graveyard which is inside the village. So they stopped. They went to the village people and they said, well, we have a project and it's a government project, we have to do it. So they went to the Supreme Court, they made some kind of case. The case went to the fatwa, the big fatwa place where they issued the fatwa. And they said, well, it's a road and it will benefit the Muslims. So in this case, you can dig the what you call it, the graves, and shift them some other place. So it was old graveyard. The last person was buried there 30 years back. So from 30 years there was nothing. It was just closed. The last person was buried there 30 years ago. So they got the approval. They start digging up with the tribes leaders, with the Baladiya, those who are in charge of being with the area, digging digging the graves with the company. Grave after grave, it smells really bad, and they find nothing except bones and nothing, And one of the grave, when they, dig the grave, they saw the kafan, they call it kafan, right?
Yeah.
The kafan, white, pure, not a single dirt on it. And it smells good. And it was last person who was buried 30 years ago. So people are saying, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. They hold the person's body is still, soft. They open that face, they check they open the kafan, and they found the person as it is. Nothing. As it is. And the people start saying, Allahu Akbar, glorifying Allah. And they took it home, and some of the tribe leaders, they recognized the face of this person. They said, we know this guy, he's so-and-so, and his father's still living, So they took the body, and the body smells good, from last 30 years. They took it to the house of that guy, old guy. They knocked the door, he opened the door, he said, we have a project, and, they explained the whole story, and they said, we found your son, and he is as it is, nothing happened to him. So he took the son, he saw his face, and started kissing his face, and he started saying, glory be to Allah, subhanallah, Allah is the great, that, he just brought my son back to me after 30 years as he is, nothing happened to him. So of course, after, some time, they took the body and they buried him again in some new place, and that's it. Now, those who witnessed this incident, some of them, they went back to the father, and they said, what we saw, it was not a usual thing, an unusual thing. So tell us what your son used to do in his life, that Allah preserved his body and he's smelling good after 30 years. So the father said, he swear, he said, Wallahi, I don't know anything about my son except after the age of puberty, he never misses salah. He never misses his salah. Every time he goes to the masjid. When he's sick, he prays at the time even he is at home. And that's it. I don't know anything about my son except that he prays on time. He prays in the masjid. He prays in the first line as much as he can, do that in his life. And subhanAllah, the Shaykh was saying this story. He said, look how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved him, because he saved and he protected the salah in his life. He protected and he saved the salah in his life. Allah protected him in dunya. He died in a good way. He protected him in his grave. And inshallah he will be protected in the day of judgment. Because of what? Just because he saved his salah. He protected his salah. So, subhanAllah, we are in a month of Salah, my brothers. And of course, we have the 5 times prayer, but after that, we have Taraweeh. We should encourage ourselves that, this is something that it comes once in a year, that we Muslims get together, we pray in a time. So 1 hour, less, more, doesn't matter. The matter is that we are standing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And keep one thing in your mind, my brothers, and it's advice for me and you all, that this is only act of worship that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prescribed upon Muslims when the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam was in the heaven in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All Hajj, Salah, Zakat, all these acts of worship, the obligatory act of worship, the pillars of Islam was prescribed upon Muslims when the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam was on the earth. Except Salah, we know that the long story of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam going from Mecca to Jerusalem, from Jerusalem to ascending through one of the animal to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, crossing all the skies. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prescribed the Salah. Why? Because it's something really important, and it's just a connection between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whatever happened, that He keep us on a straight path. Keep us, and bless us to pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all the time in any situation. Wallahu a'lam. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.